Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Water Cooler. Today we have a major upset in college football, some NFL and NBA talk on the slate, and of course, the always exciting MLB playoffs. So stay tuned. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lopez here on the Water Cooler, filling in for Evan Budrovich, sitting here with Darian Nourian and Chris Hochgesang. How you guys doing today?
Good to be here. Nice to have you, Lopez, on set.
Yeah,
Doing absolutely fabulous. Fabulous today.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Huge game on Thursday night, Arizona and Oregon. Huge upset for Arizona. What do you guys make of the game?
Oregon, do you even lift, bro? Honestly, they got dominated in the trenches once again. They're missing 3 offensive linemen, I know, but we've seen this year in and year out. Oregon's problem is these teams that punch them right in the mouth, and we saw that again on Thursday night.
What's it going to take for this Oregon team to really want this Pac-12 North? I mean, Pac-12, the whole Pac-12 is up for grabs now, especially the Pac-12 North. And this is a message to the selection committee that teams in the Pac-12 cannot take any games for granted, as we saw Oregon do last night. Their offensive line got absolutely demolished. We saw Marcus Mariota get sacked 5 times. Their secondary looked really shaky. We saw Arizona running back Terrace Jones-Grisby go off for over 200 yards against this Oregon, line and secondary. So who knows, what's going to happen in the Pac-12 now?
It's true. It's a good point. And I think mostly one thing that you're seeing this year is the absence of Chip Kelly and what really made Oregon elite. Because before this game in Arizona, they almost got upset at Washington State.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you look at the talent of both teams, it's not even comparable.
So almost we could have saw this coming, especially after, that dismal performance in Washington, at Washington State. They just barely escaped. And, a lot of people weren't really talking about that game, but then we saw them, go to Arizona and, they got upset.
So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think Oregon is no longer the Pac-12's leader. I just don't see it. I don't see a team in the North that really can hang with the 2 best that I've seen so far in the South. I think it comes down to the USC-UCLA game, winner takes all.
And let's not forget about this Arizona team. And they did win on a Hail Mary against Cal, but they really took it to. At the same time, Oregon is a very good team.
They are a very good team. They have the best quarterback in college football, Marcus Mariota. I still think he's the most talented player in the game. I just don't think he has the offensive line right now that can support him.
But I'm really excited about this Pac-12 South race now, especially for USC. We're going to have games against Arizona State this weekend, and then, going on the road to Arizona. So we're going to see how that team reacts in that game.
Well, without a doubt, the game at the end of the year between USC and UCLA will certainly shape the destiny of the Pac-12. So, moving on to something more USC-related, we have a big game coming up, USC and ASU.
Big game.
Let's go.
What do you guys make of the game? What do you see happening on
Looks
Saturday?
like a dangerous trap game to me. This is a tough Arizona State team. Any quarterback, Bercovici, he can run a little bit, and if you can run a little bit, you can run a lot on USC's defense.
Bercovici is no Taylor Kelly. We saw him against UCLA. He did some good things.
450 yards.
He did some bad things. He made some mistakes. But, he is a young quarterback, so that's something we're going to expect. But really, I want to see this USC defense this weekend come after him fast.
Absolutely. You got to think USC's hungry. You saw how good that defense can really be against Oregon State. They totally shut him down. Yeah, Cody Kessler.
And Cody we trust, right?
And Cody we trust.
And for me right now, it's in Sua we trust.
And you look at the big plays, the way the big plays have changed games for USC thus far with the touchdown, as you saw just before halftime. USC's looking more dynamic offensively.
Absolutely.
The hurry-up offense looking great. But really, you're seeing this team being led by its defense.
Speaking of their defense, Sua Cravens, we saw him move down from Justin Wilcox, moved him down from the safety position closer to the line of scrimmage toward that linebacking spot. We saw him come up big with that big play, that pick 6. We saw him, record his first career sack. Sua Cravens making big plays across the field when that USC offense was shaky in the first half. Then we saw that Hail Mary to Darius Rogers, Steve Sarkisian putting some trust in his quarterback. And that's something that we want to see moving forward because right now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Completion percentage, amongst the other quarterbacks in the nation, he's the 6th best at 75%, which is outstanding. And you could attest that to Steve Sarkisian's play call, calling a few screens here and there, but we are seeing the ball get moved down the field, to freshmen like Juju Smith and Bryce Dixon, the tight end.
Yeah, do you guys think USC can dominate this game, or do you think it's going to be a shootout in the 40s?
I have USC winning this game 35-14. I have them coming up fast, pumping on the brakes a little towards the
I
end of the
absolutely
game.
think they can dominate this game. It'll really all be down to the defense. And from what I've seen this year, I absolutely trust in guys like Stuart Cravens, you mentioned, who's been an absolute game changer, and Leonard Williams totally controlling this game. Not to mention, the running game has been very strong, and I don't think Arizona State has a very good
I
running
just
game.
cannot forget the 62 points I saw this Arizona State team hang up on USC in the last game
Let's
of the
not
Lane
forget
Kiffin
about
era.
Arizona State running back DJ Foster, who's put up some beastly stats.
He is a great running
lately,
back.
and we saw the USC defensive line kind of exposed a little bit against Oregon State, and we did see it against Boston College. We know that.
Absolutely.
So let's see how the defensive line reacts early.
I think it could be a 40s-30s kind of game.
Yeah.
I see it as 37-31 SC.
It's true.
It's close.
Regardless,
I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
Regardless, we'll be there fighting on. No pun intended. Now to change gears a little bit, some news coming out of New England that the Patriots have been struggling mightily this season. What do you guys make of their struggles and the potential ending of the Belichick-Brady era?
One, the AFC East sucks. And two, the Patriots have sucked lately. I don't know.
So tell us what you really think, Darian.
I think we all saw that Monday night game against the Chiefs, and where was Tom Brady?
But where was his protection? Where was his line? Again, when we see these elite teams that we think are great tend to struggle,
Absolutely.
It usually starts right up front with the offensive line. You got to win these games in the trenches, and we saw Logan Mankins get traded to Tampa Bay in the offseason.
Yeah.
We've already seen 5 different units for this Patriots offensive line. They're in shambles right now. I mean, this is still, as we all know, they're right at the top of the division. You got 3 2-2 teams. You got
right now,
1-1-3 team in the Jets. Who do you guys see as the leader in the pack?
I mean, for now, it has to be the Patriots because the rest of these teams are not very good. The Buffalo Bills right now are actually leading the division. They've won 1 conference game. Wow. Who would have thought the Buffalo Bills are at the top of that division?
But remember, we got Kyle Orton coming in. He's got that soccer hairdo coming in. He's got the little bun. But I actually think Kyle Orton can win games in this league. He's a very accurate quarterback, and that's what the Bills believe they need. They're bringing him in because I think E.J. Manuel still has a future with this Bills team, potentially next season. But I think right now they're worried about him being able to distribute the ball to Sammy Watkins and those receivers. But as you can see, this is not a great Patriots defense. They got carved up by Kansas City. I think we can see Kyle Orton do very similar Alex Smith-type things against that defense.
We saw Revis Island himself get kind of exposed by that Chiefs defense.
Yeah, Revis what?
Chiefs offense. Revis Wood, right?
They've had a rough time of it, to be sure. But to the point on Kyle Orton, it's funny how with a backup quarterback, if you have a good string of games 2 years ago, that suddenly you can take over as the starter in this season. The same thing happened.
We've seen him do it in Denver. We've seen him do it in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it. He is the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL for a reason, though, guys.
The highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL.
Tim Tebow. He's the new Tim
The
Tebow.
new Tim Tebow. Wow.
Certainly a very coveted title. Now, to switch divisions to a maybe slightly marginally not at all better division in the NFL, the NFC East, and what to actually make of this division at all. Who do you guys think any of these teams are for real and any of them could be?
Romo's on fire, baby. Romo is on fire. I mean, come on. He's leading the league in points per game, I believe. Or no, it's close with Indianapolis. Those are the 2 top teams in offense. But Romo's been lighting it up. DeMarco Murray's leading the NFL in rushing.
Let's give the Cowboys credit instead of jumping to conclusions. It's DeMarco Murray. It's Tony Romo. This Dallas Cowboys offensive line has been phenomenal this season. Very physical, stout front line that has protected Tony Romo, allowed him to move the ball down the field to guys like Terrence Williams and Des Bryant and Jason Witten, and then open up the running lanes for DeMarco Murray. So it's been a very balanced attack for Jason Garrett and his Cowboys team.
If you take the starting quarterback, starting running back, offensive line, starting receiver, and starting tight end, I can't name a better unit than the Dallas Cowboys right now.
And that's why they're 3-1 right now, and they rolled last week against the Saints. The other team we are looking at in the NFC East would be the Philadelphia Eagles, who did lose last week in a close game to the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Foles has been, at times, for real this year. He has actually already doubled the amount of interceptions he had since last year. So he's kind of shaky at times. But this Philadelphia team, I think, is getting better each week. Their offensive line at the beginning of the season, has been subject to injury.
To answer the question, though, does anybody see the Eagles as for real? Because I do not. I only see it as
But
the
why?
Cowboys
But
division
why?
to lose.
They almost
But
beat
why?
the 49ers last week.
Almost. That's the Chip Kelly. That's the Eagles' way in
The
recent
Chip
years.
Kelly mantra. Oregon
Honestly,
coming to the NFL.
almost the championship against Auburn. I'm not trying to harp on those Ducks fans who are watching out there in Oregon.
But is this a Chip
He was
Kelly
down,
thing?
Chris. He was down. He rolled over.
Michael Dyer nightmares. But, I mean, this team seems to be so close, but then when it really matters, when they really go against a tough team, when they finally play in the playoffs, they just don't have enough.
That's an absolutely good point.
We're still early in the season. I think LaShawn McCoy still has a long way to go this season. He's had rough times. I know fantasy owners are not happy with him at this
25 yards a
point
game.
in junction in the season. So if LaShawn McCoy gets going, really open up that balance.
What about the
attack.
Giants, guys? That's been a solid
the
team so
Giants
far.
suck.
No, that's not fair. That's just not fair at all. I think that's a solid team. Tom Coughlin is looking 80 years old, but still kicking. I think that team, they look like the second strongest team to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they usurped the Cowboys.
When you have Eli Manning as your quarterback, you have Tom Coughlin, two veteran, a coach, and a quarterback, you always have a chance. You see the Giants really, at times, they start out well or they start out bad.
When I think about the Cowboys' weaknesses, I have to immediately think turnovers and consistency and discipline, and that's exactly what you're going to get from a Tom Coughlin team.
Absolutely. It'll be surely a great race going forward. Moving on to the NBA, the Lakers had their media day a couple days ago, and I'm sure you guys as basketball aficionados.
Do they play basketball now?
Somewhere around here. It's like
I never heard of those
NBA?
guys.
Or something.
I've never heard of those
What?
guys.
So some interesting comments out of there. What do you guys have to make of the Lakers media day?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
The return of the Black Mamba. What are we going to see from number 24 this season? There's so many questions surrounding this Lakers team. How is Byron Scott going to get this, sort of random
Ragtag, you could say.
A little bit.
group of
Ragtag.
players? I mean, when you got Jeremy Lin, Carlos Boozer, Kobe,
One Stephen Nash.
Stephen Nash, who is in his 40s now.
You've got about 40 power forwards. Yeah, this team is in shambles in my eyes.
Not in shambles.
No.
We haven't seen them play a game.
This team is in shambles.
No,
There's no
you
plan
can't say
here.
that.
Could you name me a small forward on the roster? Because I don't see one currently. The Lakers have no idea
Wes Johnson.
Hold on. The Lakers have no idea what they're doing. R.I.P. Kobe. I don't even think he's going to average 20 points per game, let alone see him play 20 games this year. I just think this is a team that clearly has no plan, and Media Day is going to be the only victory for the Lakers this season. They can celebrate now about Kobe coming in. Kobe coming in talking about the only thing we care about here is championships. All we care about is championships.
It is. It's a
you
culture.
care about an 8 seed, or you're going to finish 9th or 10th. Oh, wait, and you don't even have your draft pick.
We
at the
saw
end of the
Byron
year.
Scott coming a
I'm
few
sorry.
weeks ago. He said,
Came to USC,
we're gonna,
Byron Scott, shout out.
unlike the Lakers teams in the years past, we've seen with Mike D'Antoni, this Lakers team is going to play defense. They're going to run, and they're going to have fun. Byron Scott's going
to have fun.
Showtime back to L.A.
Oh,
with good old
that is blasphemous.
Jeremy Lin and 40-year-old Steve Nash and one Kobe Bryant.
This guy's losing
I
it.
may
We need to go to
sound
break.
kind of crazy right now.
A little
but
crazy.
The Lakers are going to make the playoffs. That is my bold prediction
bold
right
prediction.
now.
Oh, no.
You heard it here
he did
first.
not.
The Lakers are
He
making
did
the
not.
playoffs
He
in the
didn't
Western
say it.
They're going to
Conference.
embrace
He didn't say
mediocrity
it.
this
No,
year,
take it back.
and we'll
We'll give you a chance. You
capture
take it
that
back?
8th seed in the Western Conference.
Wow, the 8th
And I'm
seed in the
done.
Western Conference, the Lakers this year. You heard it here first, absolutely. When Byron Scott came in, we asked him how he would get the Lakers to be better this year. Now he sort of assembled this ragtag group to be great, and he said, they will because I'm good, and I'm good at what I do.
Remember that
So,
those
with an
2002 New
explanation
Jersey
like
Nets.
Remember this guy getting fired from Cleveland in less than 2 seasons?
No. Let's jump back. Let's jump back one
But that's
full
Cleveland.
decade.
No one can win in
Oh,
Cleveland.
yeah, so he can win with the Lakers with an even worse roster.
I'm done.
huh?
Let's talk point guards. Let's talk point guards.
Absolutely. Well, next one on the slate, Scott Brooks in Media Day said that Russell Westbrook is the best point guard in the NBA. So do you guys agree with that or do you disagree?
I mean, just based on the definition of a point guard, he is your prototypical hybrid guard. He can score, he's explosive, he's athletic, but is he a point guard? Not really. So that's why I'll give the edge to the Chris Pauls or even the Stephen Currys, although he's won more playoff games than all of them, plus Damian Lillard combined. So.
Only one player in the NBA has been able to average 20 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. Beyond LeBron, it's Russell Westbrook.
He also had 3 triple-doubles in the last year's playoffs.
Yeah, I absolutely believe he's the best point guard in basketball. If you put him on that 2010 Chicago Bulls team and put him at point guard, there's no way he doesn't win that MVP as well. To me, he's the league's best point guard. I'd love to see him on a team besides Kevin Durant because I think Durant's holding him back.
Ooh.
I'd love to see a team totally constructed around Russell Westbrook, but I think Scotty Brooks said it best. He's the best point guard in basketball.
And I love that
defensively
mindset.
and offensively.
You got to love the mindset coming from Coach early in the season, really instilling that confidence in Russell Westbrook going into this year's season. So I'm excited.
If there's anything that Russell Westbrook has problems with, it's definitely his confidence when he plays basketball.
It's his confidence. He's the first player we've seen since Jordan who actually believes he is Michael Jordan. When he pulls up, he thinks it's going down every time. We've never seen, even LeBron, we don't see anybody play with that kind of confidence. And I think he's been losing. He's been down. But I think eventually, over time, just like Jordan did, it's going to catch up and he's going to start winning rings.
Comparing Russell Westbrook to Michael Jordan, I think we should stop there.
Man, a real blasphemous first half for us. Anyways, we'll have a quick commercial break, and then we'll get back to the great MLB postseason that we've already been having. Stay tuned.
Matt Shoemaker.
Oh. Welcome back to the Water Cooler. Again, I'm Chris Lopez, sitting here with Darian Nourian and Chris Hochgesang. We're going to jump right into the MLB postseason that is currently going on right now. So far, it's been really exciting. The Tigers and the Orioles already knee-deep in a series. My beloved Tigers down 0-2. What have you guys made of the series thus far?
First of all, Chris, just how much do we love October? We got to love
it is
MLB
certainly the
baseball.
best. It's like Christmas in October. It's the best sports
Christmas
season.
in October.
Yeah, Christmas in October. It's the
only
best time in sports right here, right now. MLB postseason, NFL's in full swing. But Jobber Chamberlain, he's just getting rocked right now, along with the rest of his Tigers.
Man,
and that's why I got the Orioles in 5. You know, the Orioles' late innings dominance. We saw Delman Young really with that base clearing double the other night. Nelson Cruz, Adam Jones, they've been really good out there.
I certainly agree. I think the Tigers are on their way out. The Orioles are on their way back to total relevancy.
On their way out.
But I think in the other series, we've seen the Royals already taken a 2-game or 1-game edge over the Angels.
They won in late.
Where do you guys see that going with the other LA team?
I mean, it's hard to not call the Royals at least somewhat of a team of destiny, which is an awful sports buzzword. But when you win your wild card game in the 12th inning at home with the fans going nuts, and then you win your first game of the playoffs in the 11th inning, all on almost miraculous plays, it's really been just an absolute amazing playoff run and a whole season run for them thus far.
You could say, making a great sports movie reference, that there was Angels in the outfield
literally
the other night, but for the Royals. And, you know, now we're going to have a young pitcher for the Angels in Matt Shoemaker. He's a rookie going against Ventura for the Royals. And, you know, will be interesting to see how Shoemaker comes out in his first postseason career start.
So who do you got?
I got the Royals. I
got the Royals as well. I see what you're saying with the team of destiny sort of thing. I hate to say it too. We all saw what happened to Auburn in the championship last season. But
Absolutely.
I think the Royals, it's a 5-game series. Anything can happen. I just don't really know if I can see the Angels taking 3 out of the 4 next games.
Yeah.
And
especially if they lose in Anaheim.
Yeah, it's already turned tough, and it's interesting for Trout. Can he really become the best player in baseball until he starts to have success in the postseason like we saw one Derek Jeter have early on?
I totally agree, especially when Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, and Howie Kendrick all went over 18. When 4 or 5 of your best players cannot get on base, you're not going to win the game.
Absolutely. Well, for me, I'll also take the Royals. So a clean sweep over the team that had the best record in the AL in the regular season. We just see the change that October brings. The next series that's going on, the game is actually currently going on. The Giants and the Nationals. Currently, the Giants are up 2-0.
I believe
so. What do you guys
Giants
make
are
of
up
that?
2 right now.
Strasburg getting picked apart early. He's going to need some run support from his guys. Got those guys like Denard Span, Jason Worth, Adam LaRoche, who led their team in home runs.
Well, and the Nationals scored more runs against the Giants this season than any other team. So hopefully you will see.
Hopefully Strasburg gets his run support, because the Nationals, I have the Nationals winning the series. They have the edge. With the bats, they have the edge in the pitching rotation. They'll have Jordan Zimmerman start the next game.
But exactly like you're talking about, when you're talking about the Giants in October, as you see Posey throwing down to first, you got to throw the stats out the window with these Giants. When they get to October, they're confident. They got guts, they got heart, and they got a will to win that just cannot be denied.
A team that didn't win for 110 years, and then boom, they win 2 World Series, and all of a sudden they're a team of destiny.
Best team in the MLB already. Though they didn't pick up an old white guy in his mid-30s to be their postseason hero this year.
Oh, so they got Jake Peavy to be the pitcher.
Oh,
they got him. They got exactly what you're talking about, Lopez.
And I hear that he's been having a great game today, so yikes, that might be their diamond in the rough.
There you go.
And for the last series, that is...
Well, who are we picking? I'm picking Giants.
I took the Nationals.
Ooh, I will also take the Nationals just because I'm also a Washington Nationals fan. So we'll see how that series turns out. Next and last series, the Cardinals and Dodgers, a little close to home for us. What do you guys think?
I mean, this is without a doubt my favorite series that I'm looking forward to. The Dodgers are facing the Cardinals, a team they've always had trouble with in past years, but the Dodgers have one man, and his name's Clayton Kershaw. Best pitcher in baseball. We talked about it last week, how we feel he should be the MVP. No, without a doubt, Cy Young.
Not concerned about his postseason pass and how he struggled?
No, I think this is a really interesting season. We've all seen the demons the Dodgers have had with the Cardinals, but when you look at these rosters, the Dodgers just have so much more. They have so much more talent offensively and pitching, but I really think this is going to be a series that comes down to Game 1. I think if Kershaw gets off to a hot start and you see the Dodgers win in the ravine, I think they're going to roll through this series.
No doubt.
But if you see Kershaw get burned again in the playoffs, I really don't see any way the Cardinals get denied.
That's not going to happen, so we're not going to worry about that. But the Dodgers are healthy this year. 1-9. They're a little bit struggling with their pitching rotation. We're going to see how Kershaw reacts to having a few days rest in the postseason and having to come back, possibly on the road, and winning a game in St. Louis. But I had the Dodgers winning this one and in 5 games.
I've got the Dodgers in 4.
I also had a dream last night about Don Mattingly, and it was majestic. And I just wanted to throw that out there.
About
there
Don
you
Mattingly.
go. We have a psychic.
I mean, you really can't say no to that, can you? I'll also, I'll go ahead and be the opposite side of that. I'll take the Cardinals because the Cardinals just have a way to win in October.
The Cardinal way.
I can't explain it.
Okay,
I don't even like the Cardinals, but I can't deny that they always find a way to win. So moving on, switching gears a little bit to college football, where I'm going to be picking between TCU and Oklahoma. Big game this weekend. Really a chance for Oklahoma to cement itself in the nation as one of the best teams. Trevor Knight looking to have a big game. What do you guys think?
I have Oklahoma in this one. They are going down on the road. It's going to be a tough test down at TCU. But I really do think this Oklahoma team, Trevor Knight, leading that Oklahoma offense, their running game's been stout. Obviously, that is Samaj Perine there.
I love the Oklahoma spread, like you just saw there. Boomer Sooner. I'm going with Oklahoma over TCU. I think TCU has a nice defense. They like to get turnovers.
They do have a good secondary.
They fly around to the ball, but I don't think Trevor Knight's going to be turning it over much. I think you're going to see Oklahoma really smash mouth, run it down their throats. I think they're going to stomp on those little horn frogs.
Good Big 12 football.
Absolutely.
I think the Boomer Schooner is going to be rolling right through the Horned Frogs.
Now, don't sleep on the Horned Frogs, though.
We're not.
Horned Frogs starting quarterback, Trayvon Boykin, he's one of those mobile quarterbacks that can totally take the game over if he happens to have plays roll his right way. We've seen quarterbacks in the past do that, and it's been a big problem for defenses. So, I guess we'll see how it turns out.
This is a team that was 4-8, though, last year, and I think we're going to see them regress towards the mean.
It's true. Speaking of good football, another big game on the slate this weekend is Auburn-LSU. which two classic opponents facing off. What do you guys make of this Les Miles?
Well, we all know the final score is going to be 6-3.
Classic SEC football. That's what we love.
It could go either way. It's not what I love, but it's certainly going to be a 6-3, maybe a 7-2 type of score.
9-6.
9-6, really a 9-6. But I've got to go with Auburn. I actually do think, as much as I was joking, they can really explode. Nick Marshall's possibly a Heisman candidate at the end of the year. We've seen Gus Malzahn and Auburn. This is an explosive offense. They could just maybe put up 20 points in this game.
We saw Auburn in the national championship last year. Like you said, Nick Marshall, we know they're for real. And
it's true.
In the SEC, where basically it's who's going to score the most points over 10 is going to win, I feel like they do have the offensive weapons to do so.
And LSU's had to make a change at quarterback. We've seen a lot of inconsistency.
Been shaky all
they really
season.
got pounded by this Mississippi State team that's having a good year as well. But I think we're going to see Auburn take that recipe from Mississippi State. We saw Dax Prescott run all over this LSU team. I think we see very, very similar things from a talented Nick Marshall-led team.
Absolutely. I, of course, also think that Auburn has a huge edge in this game. It's really going to come down to the offenses because they both have stout defenses. So I think absolutely Auburn has the more firepower. LSU's offense has been very quiet this year. So the next and last game in our office pool, big game, a little personal for us as we play both these teams during the year. Stanford, Notre Dame. I'm just going to throw us over to you guys. What do you guys make of the game?
Hated rivals, the both of them. I've got Stanford on the road. I think this is exactly. I think this is
into South Bend.
I think this is exactly the type of game that the USC game actually has built them up for. You don't see Stanford lose a lot of these tough games every year. I think this is a game that they're absolutely built for. They're going to be running all over touchdown, Jesus. I see Stanford in actually a bit of a blowout. I'm saying 28-14 Stanford-style blowout.
I cannot believe you right now. I mean, we all got to love the SAT Bowl. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago. It came down to some questionable calls at the end of the game. But Kevin Hogan is perhaps one of the most mediocre quarterbacks in college. Exceptionally average, and that's why we all love him so much. But I don't think they're going to go to South Bend and get a win here. We've seen Vernon Golson lead this Fighting Irish offense all year long and really put out some points.
Yeah, Everett Golson has proven he is one of the top quarterbacks in college football, possibly a Heisman candidate. He's really come back from that academic scandal to have a really strong year this year, honestly.
So I have Notre Dame in this game. I don't see Stanford going to South Bend again to win here in the SAT Bowl.
Stanford.
I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame on this one. I honestly think it's going to come down to both the quarterbacks and their ability to come through in the clutch. And when I look at Hogan, I saw him get strip sacked for a fumble when he played us, and I don't think he can handle the pressure. While Golson, a little bit better at handling the pressure versus maybe those pressure tests in the classroom. So
classic Kevin Hogan.
Classic.
Let's see what McConaughey has to say about
Hogan. So last thing on the slate, actually one of our final memos, Kyrie Irving and LeBron had a huge day in their inter-team scrimmage. A couple great highlights coming out of that one, blowing up viral media. So had a couple of really nice plays, like here coming up.
You love to see them playing in the T-shirts
between the legs to the dunk.
They're having so much fun.
Oh yeah, staring down the crowd.
Having fun.
Nothing like a stare down in an inter squad scrimmage.
I love the chain that LeBron's wearing.
Shades of intramural Darian Nourian in there.
Shit!
I cannot believe that was just thrown out there. And we're gonna end it right there because intramural Darian Nourian is not gonna be paralleled to LeBron James.
Yeah, no, we really can't even try to compare someone like LeBron to inter squad Darian Nourian.
Oh, one of the greats in USC's history.
Putting up the numbers, he takes over the game. He's the intramural captain.
If some have called him a microwave.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much for joining us at the water cooler. It's been a great time. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Looking forward to a great weekend of games. Hopefully, we'll see you next week.
You're watching Trojan Vision. For more of your favorite shows, check us out at trojanvision.com and like us on Facebook.